Hello, everyone. Good evening. Recording this slightly later than planned. It's been a bit of a hectic week. So I am in Malaga. I'm doing a co-working retreat where I've been lucky enough to have done a workshop. But first of all, I need to say hello, everyone. I am your captain of accountancy. And today we are on star date 221205. We are into December. Man, where's the year gone? So yeah, it's been busy, and to the point I didn't really know what I wanted to talk about. And I'm a big fan of less is more, and also if you haven't got anything to say, don't say anything. Just don't fill a podcast with 20-30 minutes of just nonsense and words. And then I looked at the weather forecast. It's been fairly reasonable over here in Malaga. We've had some sun, but it's been quite cloudy. The weather forecast for right now, it looks pretty terrible. There's going to be rain and thunderstorms. And then I looked at the weather back home, and that's also looking fairly cloudy, and there's snow. I was like, clouds. Yeah, I did my workshop here was about business lessons from the mountains, and the kind of like the subtitle, the sub theme to it is a bail is not a fail. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about that, but that gave me an idea because as part of this, I talked about the background to the accountancy business and what we do here. And basically, it's a martini business has been created. Now you're thinking, oh, what? A martini business. I don't know if anyone's used that phrase before, but I certainly know what the slogan is. So martini is the drink for anytime, anywhere. And that's what this business is. The team can all work remotely. I work remotely. And I have been able to do from almost day one. So a brief history. Started the business and was using traditional like desktop. And for anyone that's listening on a podcast, I just did air quotes for desktop there and traditional. So we used traditional software. QuickBooks was the first one. And it was nice. It was lovely. Better than Sage Line 50, which I'd learned as part of my qualification, my first qualification. And one of the issues is that these sorts of software, they don't automatically back up. It takes time. And obviously you can't just keep saving it or Control S, whatever. So I was like, okay, it's not a problem. It's fine. Until one day it wasn't fine. See, what happened was that I was working away, backing up on a fairly frequent basis, and then the laptop blue screened. Yeah, for anyone that's IT based knows that that's bad. Anyone that's not IT, basically, if your laptop or a computer pings up a blue screen, it's bad, very bad. It means something dire is wrong. And then the blue screen stopped, and it was just black. The laptop had just completely imploded, and I'd lost not a lot, but maybe like 25-30 minutes worth of work, let's say. And obviously this was frustrating. I was like, there has to be a better way. That the technology is advanced. There has to be a better way. So I did some research, and I found something called Xero. And Xero is a fantastic tool. It's an accountancy product, but it's great for business owners because it allows you to send invoices. It allows you to track different expenditures. It's fantastic. And what I liked is that it was cloud-based. So that meant that I would never have the issue of losing work ever again. So that was cool. I got cloud-based software for accountancy. But the other part about being an accountant is you have a lot of paperwork, you have receipts, invoices, etc. How could I get those remote? That was going to be a bit of an ask, because from my previous job, a local authority, I knew that they had scanning software, but I also know it was bloody expensive, way above my budget at the time. And that's when I found something called Receipt Bank. So let's say Xero is the first tip we're going to be looking at. It's fantastic. You can run your business anywhere. You can run it from a laptop, a desktop. You can run it from your mobile phone. You can run it from an iPad. You can literally anywhere where you've got a 3G signal up to 4G, 5G or Wi-Fi, you can run the business. You can invoice. You can track your expenditure. Brilliant. The second one is Receipt Bank. And what Receipt Bank allows you to do is in the early days, you could put all your receipts into an envelope and send it away to somewhere. I think it was Swansea in Wales. They would scan them all. So like 48 hours after you posted them, you would see them online. Brilliant. Or you can use your phone to take pictures. Or you can, if it's an electronic invoice, you can email it over to the guys. So Receipt Bank is now rebranded. It's now Dex, but it still has that great functionality. And it means that you can remove that fire hazard of having mountains of paperwork. Or, you know, if you had a flood, and it sounds stupid to say if you had a flood, but how many people work from home and maybe their bathroom is above where their office is? That's not so far-fetched, is it? What happens if there's an issue where the bath suddenly springs a leak? Yeah, you could lose all of that data because water and paper tend not to be best buddies. The other one is it preserves that information for a long time. So speaking of best buddies, receipts and direct sunlight, not good friends because the sunlight bleaches the receipt and it just destroys the ink. You can't read it. Data's lost. Same with if you've got greasy fingers from crisps or you go to the chip shop, destroys the ink. You can't read it. There's no data, which means you might be paying too much tax, stuff like that. Receipt Bank, you can snap a picture of the receipt at the time, and it's just fantastic. So I now had electronic cloud-based software for accountancy, and I had a way of getting the receipts online. So then emails. Now, to be fair, emails have been online sort of thing for a long time. I'm used to using desktop apps or downloads. Things like Microsoft, you've got Office 365, you can use that. You can access it anywhere. You can do the same with Google. So I can check my emails on my laptop. I can check them on my phone. I can check them on my iPad, and they all sync. So if I send an email on my phone, I can then see it as a sent item on my PC. Brilliant, brilliant. Another great tool that you can use, and again, we are, in case you haven't noticed, when we say cloudy, very cloudy, that's the theme because these are cloud-based software or apps. A fantastic one that we use is Google Docs. So we use a lot of Excel because we have the Office 365. However, we use Google Docs for things like marketing so we can share and track. So I can drop things into the Google Drive and I can update a spreadsheet, and literally the person that handles marketing for me can also then check what I put. They can act on it. It's fantastic. Far better than using a spreadsheet for this sort of thing. The downside is that Microsoft Excel is far more complicated, and that's complicated in a good way. You can do things like macros, and the formulas are a lot easier to work with in Microsoft Excel. Google Docs, it's a little bit behind it, and Google Sheets, it's actually called. And you don't have that same level of functionality, but it's getting there. It's getting better. But for sharing with Teams, it's fantastic. Teams. Yeah, I don't like Teams, as in the software app, but Zoom, like that. And here's the bizarre thing that we're so used to now using these things, but it wasn't that long ago. It was an alien concept. I remember, 2019, trying to get people to do Skype calls because our client base was north of England, like Newcastle, Sunderland area. We've got some Scottish clients down to like Somerset and down to Devon and Cornwall, across towards London. So geographically, it's huge, and you cannot service those people face to face. So I was trying to get people onto Skype, and it was difficult. Suddenly, we get the C word hits, and we're not allowed to travel and see people. So you had to do the Zoom was like an overnight success because of this. And suddenly everyone's doing it. You know, there was pub quizzes on a Saturday night, virtual ones. There was all sorts of things, networking meetings, the lot. And I just think Zoom has got so much potential. And for me, it's easier to use than Teams. So I think that's fantastic. That I've been here in Malaga for a week, and I've done meetings with people back in England. I've done networking meetings with like 25 people, and I've done presentations. Absolutely fantastic as a tool. The next one I want to talk about is something called Trello. I love Trello. I used to have a business coach back in, it would be like 2013, 2014 sort of territory. And they loved whiteboards. And they wanted me to get loads of whiteboards in the office. And it works. It's very visual. The problem is, if you are away on a business trip, you can't take the whiteboard with you. Or if you want to do anything that's not at your physical location, you can't take the whiteboard with you. So I started to do research. And Trello is essentially, I'm being very simplistic here, but it's essentially it's an online whiteboard. It's brilliant. I use it to track my sales process because you can just nudge from one column to the next until they're either a converted client or they're a callback at some point. So Trello is a fantastic tool. I suggest people check it out. There's a free version, and the free version is huge. It's so usable. But if you need to upgrade to the premium one, it's not much. We're talking a couple of quid type of territory for it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to do today. I didn't want to talk for too long. We're up to 12 minutes now, approaching 13, and that's about right, I think. So I've covered off some tips there for how you can embrace the cloud to make your business remote. That you can have a martini business anywhere, anytime. Yeah, some businesses are harder than others, but there's always a way. So there's a lot of people here. There's like 30 to 40 people on this co-working retreat. And a lot of them are doing work in between sessions whilst they're here because they've got similar setups. They obviously haven't done the level of research that maybe I have because, you know, I've been on this route for like approaching 10 years with leveraging cloud power. But they're still getting there. And when I did this workshop, there was people that were like, oh, wow, yeah, I knew about that. But that one's new. So everyone can learn some value from it. It's wicked. It really, really is. So yeah, those are some tips. So let's just quickly summarize it, shall we? So to have a martini business, you need to be able to be remote. You need it to be anytime, anywhere. So Xero is a fantastic tool. Also, QuickBooks, QBO, QuickBooks Online, fantastic tool. There is also Free Agent, cracking tool. Sage, don't like it. It'll have to be a very cold day in hell. Sorry, Sage, but yeah, I just don't get on with it, and I think Sage is just too far behind the curve now. They have missed the boat. So Xero, absolutely love it. Receipt Bank, which is now Dex, fantastic. You've got then Microsoft Office, their tools, Office 365. It's brilliant. Like there's so many things in there. We have Google Docs, which is great for collaborative working. Trello, again, brilliant for collaborating. It's great for tracking your sales process, and you can literally take it anywhere you want. So those are some amazing cloud-based stuff. Now, I said last week that I wanted to do an announcement. I wanted to start talking about charity of the year. So there's not just one. That's the first thing that we need to cover off. I found it very difficult to try and choose who to support because there's a lot of causes that are close to my heart. So I didn't know what to do. Well, I'll have more than one charity. That's the obvious answer. So the first one that I would like to announce, the first one, it is the Royal, the RNLI, so the lifeboat people. They do a fantastic job. They are volunteers. They are an emergency service to my mind. They don't have that sort of official status and funding from the government, not like the police, ambulance, etc. But the work that they do, it's tremendous. They are saving lives. They are helping people with injuries. They are basically keeping us safe on our seas and our waterways. So I say waterways, they're not just seas. On the Thames, there's a lifeboat station. Heading up to Scotland, some of the locks have got RNLI stations on them. So they do an absolutely amazing job, and basically their funding is through donations. So what I want to do is make a monthly donation out of the business and give them the status of being the Carford and Associates Charity of the Year. So as we move forward towards the end of the year, I will make some more announcements as to who our charity partners are going to be. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to listen to the show today. It is Captain's Log, an accountant's guide to the galaxy. If you're on YouTube, I would love to give it a thumbs up and also hit the notification bell and give it a subscribe. If you're on a podcast one, so Spotify, Apple, any of those, please do subscribe. It means a lot. I'm so pleased with the figures that we're getting already. It is absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much. So I can't talk. Subscribe to us. It does really mean a lot. I check my figures in the morning, and it puts a smile on my face when I see the views, the listens, and the subscribers that we've got. It's fantastic. So please just give it that subscribe, and much appreciated. And I will tune in next week to give you some more updates on what's happening in the wonderful world of business and accountancy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I've been your captain. I will see you soon.